Available now on Blu-ray from Troma is one of their 80s classics, Surf Nazis Must Die. This is a movie that I originally, I think a lot of us originally saw this on USA Up All Night. USA Network used to have a lot of Troma movies they would run. And USA Up All Night used to crack me up in a way because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching the movies. I enjoyed the host segments more than the movies, but they would always cut everything out of the movie that would be the reason you would want to watch it. So they would show sex comedies without the nudity and profanity, and they would show horror movies without the gore. So home video is really, really wanted to see the Troma movies, and that's where I eventually rented Surf Nazis Must Die on tape years ago. And I liked it then, and I like it now. And I'm not really particularly a Troma fan per se, but I admire their longevity in the business, and I admire some of the movies that they put out. They often would just pick up independent films. I believe that was the deal with this one. So directed by Peter George, this is the tale of surf Nazis. It's sort of like a slightly post-apocalyptic future, but on a budget. So it's basically a bunch of these surf punk Nazis on the beach in LA terrorizing beachgoers. And this one ex-military guy, Leroy, he's just a fine upstanding citizen. He tries to defend somebody and he winds up being killed by the surf Nazis. And then his grandmother, or his mother, busts out of a retirement home, buys a gun, and starts cleaning up the beach. Mama's coming home to the beach. And she's pretty fantastic. This movie is goofy, crude, and it's got some not bad action in it, actually. So the last like 15 or 20 minutes of this movie is just nonstop vigilante action with an elderly African-American woman. She buys a gun, she hops on a Harley, and she just starts cleaning up the beach, and it's a lot of fun. So very goofy. You know, Troma, it's not as gross as Troma tends to be, maybe because it wasn't a Troma movie per se. It's not as over the top as Troma movies tend to be, I think, again, because it was made outside of their purview isn't the right word. It wasn't made by them, it was made and picked up by them. And it's just goofy. It looks quite good. It's the best this probably is ever going to look. I don't think this movie had a huge budget to make it look gorgeous, but it's a bright, colorful transfer. The monitor I watched it on, it looked like it might be a little too bright maybe, but that might have been just trying to bring up the levels so that it would look good in the HD world. This is a Blu-ray from Troma, so it is HD for the film and voluminous extras. I'll read you some of the extras if you don't mind looking at the side of my face. It's a lovely profile. Troma has a way of taking a lot of things from previous releases and adding them to a Blu-ray release, which is nice because it means if you have the old DVD, hopefully all that gets ported over, you can toss the DVD and upgrade. So you have, again, looking over here, you have Lloyd Kaufman COVID lockdown era intro recorded from home. You have an interview with the director, which is about 3 minutes, and it's standard def and kind of old. It was probably on the old DVD. You get an interview with the producer, that's 2 minutes. You get 2 comedy public service announcements from Troma's Edge TV that are about 3 minutes each, and they're loaded with nudity, and those are standard def. You get a Lloyd Kaufman autobiography commercial for his book, featuring Sergeant Kabuki Man. That's about 2 minutes. I notate the time so you know how much you're getting here. You have the Radiation March, which is 1 minute standard def film dance sequence. Soul of Troma, which is a montage of clips and promotion for Troma. That's about 2 minutes. Scenes from the Tromaville Cafe, 4 minutes. It's a Surf Nazis Must Die intro with 2 comedy characters leading into the Lloyd Kaufman and director talk. That runs 4 minutes. You get 8 minutes of deleted scenes in standard def that have the director and Lloyd Kaufman talking about it because the original sound was lost for those scenes. You get Latched, short film by Tom D'Amico, who I kind of vaguely know. You get Independent Artists versus Corporate Cartels, which is Lloyd Kaufman sort of teeing off on the state of film distribution, YouTube monetization, and market penetration issues for indies. That's 10 minutes. That's got nothing to do with Surf Nazis Must Die, but it's actually kind of interesting, I thought. And what else is left? I have to scroll down. There's so much on here. You get Lloyd... I can't say the title of this. Lloyd gets effed by the Hollywood system, let's say. It's a minute. It's this SD clip about how Toxic Crusaders film with a major studio kind of fell through. Lloyd Kaufman standard def intro that was done for the director's cut DVD. And then you get a projection booth podcast with director Peter George. But unfortunately, the copy that I had, when you click on that link, it sent you back to the main menu. So your copy may vary. Yours may work better than mine. Maybe I pushed the button wrong. I don't know. At any rate, If you like Troma movies, if you like Surf Nazis Must Die, why wouldn't you have this Blu-ray? It is everything you could want and maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less if you're a big fan of it. I'm not a huge fan of the movie. I just think it's fun. If you asked me what Troma movies I like, I'm probably only going to tell you a couple, and this would be one of them. So available now on Blu-ray from Troma, Surf Nazis Must Die.